Most designers think that the gap between the good ones and the great ones are just pure talent, or that is number of projects in their portfolio, but none of that matters. I know many junior designers. They outpace senior designers that double their age with almost no time. Not because of the fact that they were talented, because they do these 8 simple stuff differently. So in this video, I'll talk you through these 8 simple principles one by one. So by the end of the video, you will know exactly what to do differently starting with tomorrow. Or if you're in a hurry, you can start today as well. Let's start with the first one. Please stop opening Figma or Framer or any tool that you are using. I know that sounds very cliche. I know maybe sounds too easy, but stay with me. Starting with design can cost you a lot of time, and time is the most precious thing, especially for founders. So great designers do this differently. Before they touch anything, they ask these 3 simple questions in the beginning. And the first one is, who is actually using this? Not users as a concept, a real person with a real frustration right now. And the second question is, what exact moment they are struggling in? Not the general problem, the specific moment that is breaking down their journey. And the third one is, has anyone solved this before? Because if that's the case, you don't need to start from zero every time. There might be probably more to do, and they try to focus on that missing piece. 3 questions. That's it. I know that sounds really simple, but most designers never ask these questions, and they're more keen to jump into design in the first phase. And I really get it. Building is feeling like a progress, and thinking might feel like it's a delay, but it isn't. Imagine building on a wrong direction for a week. It is going to compound over time, and it will be way more than a week. So next time when you get a brief, please chill, close the Figma, close any apps that you are working on, and focus on who am I designing for, what are their frustrations, and what exact point they fail and I can help them. Simple as that. Let's jump into number 2. Most designers hand off the project and never look back. All gone, finito, on to the next project. And that feels productive, I know. But in reality, you are doing the same mistake over and over again for many years. The great designers I know, they always go back to what they ship and they ask one simple question. Did it work? Did the users already do what it is already designed for or built for? Where did people drop off? Because I'm sure there will be more people dropping off in somewhere else. And in general, what confused them? Because don't get me wrong, you will not always have the access of the data of like Google Analytics and things like that. But what you can do instead, you can go to developers, you can go to product managers, you can go to customer support and many people and ask these type of questions. Because one thing I'm sure, there will be always someone who knows. And when you get that information, do not try to defend yourself. The great designers, they don't do that. They used to learn from it. The designers who already grow fast, they are not the ones who build over and over again. They are the ones who ship things and learn from their own mistakes and do a little bit better each time. So after your project handoff, give it, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks and ask this one simple question. Did it work? And believe me, this one tiny habit will compound over time and you will get surprised what you can be able to deliver for the client and for the users as well. And that will be a great add-on for your portfolio. Nobody likes showing something unfinished. It feels almost like it's exposed. You know that it's not ready and you can see many problems with it. And the last thing that you want is somebody else is, and especially your client, to see those problems just like you do. And that fear is costing you time, big time, a lot of it. How do I know? because I have done that, so you don't have to do this mistake. So the designers who improve the fastest are the ones who make things perfect in private. They are the ones who share early and get early feedback. They basically show a rough frame in first day or maybe the second day, not a completely polished portfolio in the day 15 that nobody is asking for. And also from my own experience, as you update your client early on, you build that trust. Here's the one thing that many people miss, including me in the past. When you wait too long to share your beautiful work, you are not protecting it. You are basically protecting your ego, unfortunately. And your ego is not the client, it is not the user, and it is not the product. Show the rough version and say that this is early. And make these small adjustments each time so that your client feel closer to you and they will have that trust. Because believe me, in the market, not many people are too responsive for asking feedback. Are we in the right direction? Can we improve? Does that really make sense? That early conversation in first day or two will cost you a week of work that is basically go to rubbish. Share early, adjust fast, learn from the mistakes. That is how you get better and better each time, not by hiding until it is perfect. So every junior designer I know, they want to do something different. They want this new shiny interaction that nobody ever tried before. And maybe their client give you that feedback. They want something original. They want something different and something fancy. You just want to stand out. You want your work to be different. But the truth is, nobody cares about this fancy interaction that they have nobody ever seen before. They just care about how easy is this product to use. When somebody opens an app, they don't really think about these things. The only thing that they think about is how can they actually go from point A to point B as fast as possible. As fast as possible. Let's say book a flight, send that message, or go to my settings. And anything that slows down the process is a major problem. That familiar things exist for a reason. A hamburger bar, a sticky navigation bar, or let's say a product card. These are not lazy choices. These are choices that already made by millions of people. And when you use these things at the first place, you are borrowing that behavior and you don't really start from zero. So use it as a leverage. So you can save the originality where it actually matters. The visual language, the typography, the way that the product feels. That is where the great product lives. But the interaction, keep it simple and keep it familiar. The best interaction is the interaction that nobody ever noticed. Because in reality, when a user notices your interaction, it's probably confusing them already. Most designers are trying to be good at almost everything, like the typography, illustration, motion design, UX writing, UX research. They spread themselves across all these skill sets and wonder why nothing really sticks. And I really get it. It feels safer. The great designers, on the other hand, they own one skill set deep. They understand it really well and they are great at it. The rest are really good, but one thing, what makes you stand out from others? It would be the one area that the rest of the designers will call you immediately. It can be a typography, it can be reading data, it might be the design systems or the accessibility overall. It does not really matter what it is. It is really important that you go properly deep into it. Because, for instance, when somebody have a very complex dashboard design, you are going to be the chosen one because you are going to be the great at your own niche. So it will almost feels like effortless, and the clients will definitely loving them because it saves time to them. And time is golden, as always. And here is the one thing that most of the people are wrong about. Going into one skill set deep does not make you weak. It makes you stronger, and maybe the strongest among your competitors. I know from my youth, I used to combine design and code at the same time. So that was kind of my thing. So I stand out amongst all other designers. A designer who understands typography deep sees the entire layout differently. A designer who is great at design systems will see the component differently. So choose one skill set that you could be great at, own it, and be that person that everyone is going to call you. And this is how you can stop being replaceable. You're a visual thinker, and that's your main competitive advantage. Your product manager can write you long emails. Your stakeholder can talk in circles for 20 minutes straight, or your developer can give you tons of Slack messages. But you can be the one who can open Figma or even paper prototype it, and in 10 minutes you can explain everything way faster than they are. When somebody is unclear about anything, do not ask for explanation. Just make your own, make your rough frame, show the process, and ask if that thing is matching what we were all talking about. That one single habit can change how people see you in the room. That one single habit can change how people are seeing you in the room. You will stop to be that person who is waiting for the direction, and you will be that person who moves forward each time from each problem. A frame or a paper prototype will speak faster than any paragraph or any emails. A frame in Figma or a rough frame in Figma or a paper prototype can move 10 times more faster than any email. The button labels, the empty states, or let's say the error messages, most people are really thinking that's someone else's job to fill those. You need to think about the user who is reading your error message. It's not when things are going really well. It is the moment that somebody is already broke. So your users will be frustrated and they are confused. If it's already telling something went wrong and nothing else, you already failed worst possible moment. So all the great designers, they own these small details. Not because of the fact that this is the part of their job title, it's because they own that thing. And it was the part of the experience. These might be really tiny decisions, but think of in users' case that they almost feel abundant, and you are kind of, with your communication skills, you are owning them. So when you are designing for the next time, own these small little details and ask yourself, like, does my users can understand what is going on here? Do they understand? Can they go out from this problem fast? If the answer is no, just fix it. It is your job too. So beautiful UI, beautiful screens, they are good. They get the like, they get the impressions, they impress people, nothing wrong with that. But think of that way. When somebody lands on your page and do not know what to do next, it already failed. And it's no matter how good your background gradient is. That is the mistake that most designers are making. They first design for themselves and the user second. But it should have to be the other way around. The great designers ask one question early on before anything else. Does the user know what to do from this point of view? Not if it's beautiful or will it impress other people, just that question. So here is the honest truth. When you design for the clarity first, your work is almost done and it will look great anyway. But when you have to choose between two, clarity wins all the time. So choose clarity for your users and for your stakeholders.